Game started.
Vito from Brazil. Yeah, Brazil. Cool. So we got an E4 opening. Yeah, let's play E5. See what we get. We get the 4 knights, okay. That's a fine opening. The 4 knights Scotch. I don't know the 4 knights Scotch. That's usually they bring the bishop out. The 4 knights Spanish is the most common. So we just took the pawn. I'm going to play it like I would play a regular 4 knights, but I just realized there is a difference here, which is the move Queen F6 is no longer available. So if I play bishop here and he takes, I'll have to take back with a pawn. I will do that anyway because I don't know what else to play. Let's see, if he pushes the e-pawn forward, at this point I can just take it. Okay, so I'm going to drop the bishop back so it's not subject to discoveries. It's a bit loose there. Okay, so now he takes. Now he takes. So the double take, I'm not sure that's so good. Taking once made some kind of sense to mess up my structure, but taking twice actually improved my structure a little bit. Well, it doesn't improve the structure, but it improves the pawn. The pawn on the rook file is not as good as a pawn on the knight file here. This pawn has more things it can do, and it's closer to the center. So now he can play e5 at any time. I've got a square here, so I shall not fear e5. Also, there's always this idea of queen e7 to pin the pawn, which is a common motif in the Scotch. So how do I want to advance these funny pawns? Let's see, he has a light-colored bishop, so I guess ideally I should put these on dark squares. It will open up, if I put everything on a dark square, it'll open up some squares for his knight, however. So maybe I'll keep this one pawn here and put the others on dark squares. For the moment, slow down e5. Where does the bishop want to develop to? Maybe here, here. Not sure. I'm not sure how he's going to develop either. So I have a ready-made development plan for my rook. I can play rook to a5 if I need to. Let's see, that just took a square away from my bishop and my knight, but I still would like to get the bishop off the back rank, so let's move it out there. Okay, he brought his queen out. I'm going to use my queen to defend this this c-pawn for the moment. Maybe I can play b4, b5 and just kick this knight around. It doesn't have many good squares. b5, b4. Okay, he stops that. I'm going to play b5 anyway. I could double my rooks. Kind of a funny idea. Double my rooks on the a file and then play this anyway. Okay, he's not going to encourage that. He might be threatening to move his pawn forward now. But I can always ignore it and play knight to... if he plays e5, I can play knight d5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my rook behind the b-pawn, and I'm going to push that forward if he lets me. He can't block it because his a-pawn is hanging. And maybe I'll create some weaknesses. Yes, I thought this would be okay for me. If he takes, I'll take back with a pawn, and my pawns have suddenly straightened out. He takes with the knight. Okay, he's not doing any of that. He's
Server
threatening.
Announcement.
Simply threatening to mate me. Okay. And that creates some weaknesses. It creates some holes on my camp. to be careful he doesn't get in there to exploit that. Okay, so I'm going to push ahead with b5. Pawn takes. I can take with the rook because it's defended by the knight. Or you even pick up this pawn over here. The rooks really can get active on these open files. It's funny. They're not centralized like they normally are. Yeah, so he went for that. Where is his queen going, I wonder? Back to e2 maybe? I don't see any other squares for it. Well, he could play his bishop here and block me. Okay, he can go to f3, that's true. f3 and then to this square. Go ahead and grab a pawn. Why not? Unless there's a reason why not, I should do that. Then maybe the rook can come back, the knight. The knight can come back to this square hitting the queen. He has knight here check, which forks my king and my queen. But I am covered by the knight at the moment. So but that is something to pay attention to there. You know, actually the bishop move might have been more effective. Bishop to g4 would have skewered his queen and his rook. Yeah, I missed that. I misplayed that one then. Okay. Now if he goes check and I take, he can take my rook. So let me move the rook one more time. He goes back there. And let's think about this. Okay, I'm going to move my queen away from the fork. So he can still take here. I'll take back. Takes with the pawn. Oh, okay, he goes there. I wonder if there's a way to chase off this knight. Or give up the exchange. That's an idea here too. Maybe I should just take the knight. The queen goes there, and then bishop here is gains a tempo. I'm a pawn up, so this will be like giving up the exchange for a pawn. Or two, because I'll get another pawn here, I think. I can get either this one or this one. Probably I'll take the center pawn here, the e pawn. And he's not left with any pieces that can easily penetrate these dark squared holes in my position. So that sacrifice helped me a little bit, I think. I have to check and see what the chess engine thinks of it later. And I guess I will take the pawn with my queen. I was planning to take with the pawn, or thinking of taking with the pawn, but as I look at it, maybe it makes more sense to keep these pawns together and take with the queen. I can bring a rook over, put pressure on the bishop, or you do that with the knight. I'm also hitting a couple pawns over here on the queen side. So, yeah, I'm 2 pawns up for the exchange. That's usually sufficient compensation. Knight here to here would threaten checkmate in the corner. And also knight to f6 would threaten bishop to g4 immediately, winning the bishop. He should probably play rook, one of the rooks to the e file here. Just went there with the bishop. Okay, let's see. Let's eliminate the bishop and get into a simpler configuration here. I'll go ahead and grab another pawn while I'm at it. While I'm snagging pawns here. He can maybe destabilize my knight with the move c4. That's probably something white should consider here. Chasing my queen is always an option. Now let's get back to a square where it's not so easily attacked. Now, okay, he's attacking the pawn, which is defended by the knight. I could put a rook here. If he takes it, I take with check. And the king has to run for it. It is annoying to have the knight tied down to that pawn. Yeah, let's defend the pawn. I changed my mind. I was thinking of being more adventurous with the rook, but yeah, I would rather have the knight free to move. Okay, the queen is going there. I wonder where the king is going. So he's attacking my c-pawn. I can start by threatening mate, I guess. Threaten mate on g2. He grabbed the pawn. Oh, it defends. That's nice. He does defend. And he's got pressure on c7 as well. So I have a check. And is there anything after the check? There's also the check here. Check here, and the king should go to the f file. Because moving the other direction loses the pawn. Check here, and he should also go to the f file because otherwise he walks into a mate. So, I'd like to set it up by playing rook to e1, but his queen is on that square. That's too bad. Let's see, can I distract him in some way? Or maybe I should think about using the check to reposition the knight here.
Check.
Yep, he went that way. So now I'm hitting the queen and getting the knight around over here, I guess. I could come back to... okay, now I do have to do something about my rook. He is causing me trouble here, and this f7 point is about to become weak. So he's going to gather up another pawn. My two-pawn advantage has disappeared practically. He's going for the mating attack here. I can defend that. Incidentally, defending the c-pawn. So, we'll see. He takes there anyway. Interesting. So he's going to bring his rook down with check. I'll play my king to g7. And then he puts his queen on the back rank, maybe. Here or here. And I can come out to f6. Well, let's try this. I think I'm surviving this. Maybe not, though. Hey, this is tricky. Rook here check, king to g7 is the only move. Then queen to the back rank, and the king can go to threatening checks here. But the king still has a couple escape squares. And once he doesn't have another immediate check, so I can start checking his king. and I have a knight to bring in. Tricky. So, for example, with a check here, the king comes forward, the knight can deliver a check on either of these squares on f4 or d4. Okay, he's thinking about this one. Yeah, I don't see a mate for white here. And I still have managed to retain my 2 pawns up. I think, yeah, he could have just gone for the material there. I mean, he could have, I think, just mopped up my queenside pawns with his pieces. He had a predominance over there, and then maybe pushed his c-pawn forward. That might have been a winning plan for white. But if he lets me start checking, yeah, I can chase his king out into the open. So that's quite dangerous. Let's see. So he has no check. So I can go back to my plan of the queen's covering that diagonal at the moment. I go back to my plan of threatening mate on g2. Oh, it's not quite mate this time. It's queen takes check, king here, going to the back row check, picks up the rook if it's not defended. So he can defend with the queen here, something like that. Yeah, or he can attack. Yeah, it'd be nice if I could quickly get to this diagonal. Maybe I'll just drop back here for the moment, since I don't want to give up my pawns. And live to fight another day. Well, maybe I could use my pawn, start pushing the h-pawn forward. h5, h4. Now he's created a target here. You can also try to step onto the light squares here. Queen here. Let's see, this diagonal is not so easy to get access to. Okay, so he places his queen there. Let's think about it. He can deliver a check on this diagonal. I guess I can block that with the pawn move, although it destabilizes the knight. Or I could even step out to h6. That's kind of crazy. But I don't want to go back because the queen on this diagonal, he just needs to move his rook over and
check
mate along the back rank. So let's try blocking. Yeah, and I have some ideas of delivering checks on the light square. So check here or here. And then I'm bringing my knight in for some further trouble. Check here, knight here, threatening to come to this square might be good. Check here. Okay, so he goes back to opposing my queen. But, okay, so that rules out this check, but I still have this check.
Check.
And then, well, his rook is protected, so I can't back rank win the knight through some... I can't win his rook through some back rank maneuver. Maybe something like this, though. Maybe this will help. If I can bring... Hey, he's covering the squares where I can bring the bring the knight in. It would be tempting to play c5 and knight d4.
White
but
forfeits on time.
Oh, he ran out of time. Okay, thinking too hard. Well, it was a tough position. I don't know. Probably should be drawn if we were moving fast enough to stay ahead on the clock. Anyway, we'll take a look at that in the postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.